What is up guys, Daryl here again for another video in PBN Mastery. So, what I want to talk about in this video is what anchor text do you use when linking to your money site. So what anchor text are you using when you're building links from your PBN sites to your money sites? Now, there's a few different types of anchor text that you can use. I'm going to break it down into these core categories, and within that you get different types as well. So the first one is focus keywords. So if you want to rank for the term lose weight, then it'd be keywords like lose weight, weight loss guide, lose weight now, fast weight loss, I don't know, it's variations like that. Anything that's like focused towards the keyword that you're trying to rank for. So if it's built with the intention of being able to rank you and it's optimized for that, then it's a focus keyword. Another type is URL, and URL is basically where you have the website address. So I put there http:// I think you know what a URL is.com. Like, you guys know a URL. So it's where you put like linezero.com or www.linezero.com or http blah blah linezero.com and stuff like that. Like, URLs just like that. A brand is where you put the brand name, which is another type. So you put linezero, or there's different variations like that. So you put the name of the brand that you're linking to, the brand of the website. Another one is topic, and what that means is you include keywords in the anchor text, or words in the anchor text, I should say, that are relevant to the topic of the website. So if you're trying to rank a coffee shop, a local coffee shop, you could use words like coffee, cafe, espresso, stuff like that, because it's relevant to the topic, but it's not a focus keyword, because you're not trying to rank for like coffee or cafe or espresso. You're just trying to build relevance to that topic, which is ultimately the focus of that. And NA just means that there's like a blank anchor text. So like sometimes there's like a totally blank anchor text for some reason. Redirects and stuff often shows blank. That comes under NA. And finally there's MISC. So MISC is basically, obviously you guys know miscellaneous. It basically means ones that don't really fit into the above categories. So for example, it would say click here or visit this website or things like that. Very, very generic stuff that just doesn't fit in the above categories. Now, within these core categories, well, especially the focus keywords one, there's actually more that you can go in depth with this. You can go long tails. Whereas if you're trying to rank for lose weight, you could have one that's like how to lose weight in 30 days or less, or something like that. That's a long tail where the keyword is in there, but it's part of a long tail. Now, you can think about it a little bit, but let me move on and show you how to scientifically, like a scientific approach for picking the ideal anchor text ratios. So it's not just like, you look at it, I can't just look at this for you and just say, hey, you want to have 10% focus keywords, 10% URL, blah, blah, blah. There's no exact science like that for every single keyword, but there is for each individual keyword. So I learned this from my buddy Matt Diggity. So he runs a business at diggitymarketing.com and he sells backlinks and all sorts of stuff. Super smart guy, highly recommend him and his services. And basically he came up with a way of scientifically understanding the ideal anchor text ratios for any individual keyword. So I always did the same thing for a very, very long time before he told me, but I didn't do it as scientific as him. My advice to everyone was always just look at the top ranking sites and just kind of copy their anchor text ratios, which is the same thing, but this is way more scientific and way more accurate and just a much better way of doing it. So let me just show you exactly what it is. And again, this isn't my idea. I got this from my friend Matt. So what you want to do is you want to search for the keyword that you're trying to rank for. So search for your focus keyword. I just did an example here and I searched for plumbers London. So plumbers space London, and what's going to come up with all the people ranking obviously for that keyword already, which probably isn't you at this point because you're watching this video on how to rank. So what you want to do from there is you want to grab the top 5 ranking sites and you want to throw them into Majestic. Go over to this anchor text tab here, and you want to export all the data here. So you're going to be able to open this up in like an Excel document. I use numbers for Mac. Same, doesn't really make any difference, but you want to be able to do that. Now, there is one little thing that I want to add before we get into this, and it's that if the website is an EMD, like this one, where it's pimlicoplumbers.com, you don't want to bundle this with branded type sites because the ratios are different. So an EMD can't be as optimized as a branded website. It just can't, because they'll get penalized for being over optimized because they're already highly optimized within the domain name itself. So you want to bundle them together separately. So if you're building an EMD site, then look at the EMDs that are ranking, the top ranking EMDs, top 5. If you're looking to rank a branded site, which is totally brand name, then look at the ones like that. Just look at sites that are similar to yours and measure them. Another thing to do is to ignore the straight up spam. So let's move on and we'll cover that in a second. So what you want to do is you want to create a new column called type, and you want to delete everything but the referring domains. So the referring domains is the most accurate way of measuring this. And what we're going to do basically is see how many anchor texts are for each type of anchor text. So for focus, we can see there's 118 and 7. We're going to count all this up in a second. We'll show you just how to do it in a moment. But that's kind of what you do in here, so you can work out the percentages of each type. Now I want to note something here is that when you look at the top here, it says Pimlico Plumbers, which is their main keyword and their site name, and it says referring domains 100. So you have 100 referring domains linking to the exact anchor text Pimlico Plumbers, which is just way over optimized. It's totally over optimized, guys. Do not copy what these guys are doing. Just because they're ranking now doesn't mean it's going to last very long. So do not do this. Yeah, that's about all I had to say on that. Just don't do it. But if you see sites like this, please don't add them to your to this process. So what we're going to do here is work out, find the 5 of them and work out the average percentages for each of them, which is going to be our ideal percentage. So do not do it if they're ranking kind of luckily right now. So they're using spam, they're using hidden links, or they're way over optimized. They're just a penalty waiting to happen, so don't add them to this tool to check them. Just completely ignore them and move on to the next highest ranking site, because these guys are just going to get hit later. It's just temporary rankings until Penguin rerolls out. So I totally ignore these guys. And just move on to the next one. It won't be truly accurate if you're picking up people that are like over optimized and just waiting for a Penguin penalty, because that they're not really ranking properly. They're ranking, but it's only a temporary ranking until Penguin re-rolls out, and as soon as it does, they're going to lose all the rankings. So if you want to copy them and start ranking now, then get hit again in the future when Penguin rolls out, then be my guest. But if you want to rank longer term, then don't copy these guys and don't use them to base your metrics and your ratios off of. So you can see what I've done here. I've added the column type after referring domains, deleted all the other ones, and I've just manually gone down for each of them and just wrote down which type it is. So all of these ones you can see right here are focus. And then what I've done, you go into the next step, is that I wrote down a count of each of them. So I wanted to create this little pie chart here because it allows me to see the percentages of each of them. So you have a look at focus right here, it's 36%. You have a look at MISC, it is 16%. You have a look at NA, it's 26%. Topic, 2%. URL, 20%. So you can see these percentages really easily here. So what I did to do this was I just counted up each of them. So I put focus 167, MISC 72, NA 121, and I just counted out the referring domains for each of the focus ones and all the other ones. That's basically what I did right there. And you want to put this in a pie chart because it allows you to see the percentages. So now we can see that 36% is the focused keyword, anchor text, and all that sort of stuff. It just allows us to see the percentages. And like we said before, what you want to do next is you want to do this for the top 5 ranking sites. Now, bear in mind what I mentioned earlier about if you're doing an EMD, then look at EMDs. And if you don't know what EMD is, it's basically an exact match domain. So if you're ranking for lose weight, then you'd have the keyword loseweight.com. That's an exact match domain. And you just need to focus on sites that are doing the exact same thing so you don't over optimize it. A branded URL, so linezero.com can get away with a lot more than someone that's got the exact keyword in their URL. So once you've got 5, then you can work out the average from there. And guys, you don't know the average is like basic math, so just like site 1 plus site 2 plus site 3 plus site 4 plus site 5, work all that out, and then divide that number by 5, because obviously there's 5 different sites that we worked out on. And I've gone ahead and done that for you, and you can see the exact ratios I got. So you can see 26.8%, 14.2%, 14.8%, 17.8%, 22.2%, and 4.2%, just in case you can't read my screen very well for whatever reason. So that is your ideal focus anchor text ratio. Now, I made this up, so please don't just look at this and go, oh, there we go, I'll just copy that now, I don't need to do it myself. Because you do need to do it yourself, because it's different for every single keyword. But that is how you work out your ideal anchor text ratio. I learned that from Matt Diggity, and again, I'm saying that because I don't want people to like accuse me of stealing it or anything like that. That's where I learned it, and he teaches this on his blog. You can check it out at diggitymarketing.com. It's a very good approach for doing it, because normally I just tell people to look at it and copy, but this is more scientific and see the exact percentage that you need to aim for. So moving on, I want to give you a big warning that doesn't mean that 26.8% of the time you can use the exact keyword as the anchor text. So if you're trying to rank for plumbers London, and that doesn't mean that because it says 26.8% is the focus keyword, that 26.8% of the time you can just link plumbers London as the anchor text. That isn't going to work. You need to diversify your anchor text constantly. So let me show you some examples. If you want to rank for the keyword plumbers London, for your keyword focus anchor text, which if we were basing it off of this this average here, where it was 26.8% was the focus keyword anchor text. So here's some examples you can do. You could do plumbers in London, because obviously it's pretty basic. We added in and we capitalized the L in London because it's pretty natural fit. If someone's writing an article, that's what they would naturally write. They wouldn't write plumbers London as kind of a weird thing to fit into a sentence. Another example would be London plumbers. Again, we're saying the same thing, we're just mixing up the words. So this is fine, but you need to be careful that you can't over-optimize with this. But again, that's why we checked out the percentages. So we know that we're not going to do this too much. It's just 26.8%, all of these as a total. And again, that's just for the made-up example keyword. Like, you want to check your own ratios for your own keyword you're trying to target. Another example we could do is London Plumbing Company. So this one, we're hitting plumbing instead, because Google knows that plumbers and plumbing is the exact same thing. It doesn't matter that we said plumbing this time instead, because Google knows the same thing. We're still hitting London at this point as well. Now also, some of the time you won't want to mention London, but that can be more of a topic keywords. You also want to do it on your PBN as well, but sometimes you just talk about plumbing and plumbing services and stuff without saying London, because in a minute it's London, 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 and that is not natural in any way or form. It is not natural that every single time someone links to you, they mention the word London in the keyword. So again, you want to mix this up as you're building the links, not just immediately go out there and build it in this order. I'm not giving you anchor text to build in order. I'm showing you the type of keywords, which would be the type of anchor text, which would be keyword focused anchor text. But you need to mix this up constantly as you're going through it. Don't just build them in the exact order that I've given you here. But let me go through it some more and explain just my thinking behind this and why it works this way. So the next one is 24-hour services in London. And again, we're not saying plumbing in this one. All we're focusing on is London and the 24-hour services, which I'll come back to in a moment and explain why it's important. The next one is emergency plumbers based in London, and the next one is recommended plumber for London. Okay, let me exit out of this presentation quickly and explain to you why I did certain keywords in this list. So, if I grab a pen here, okay, we should be able to draw it on my screen right now. And what I want to show you is the reason behind why I did certain things. So, for example, I did 24-hour services in London. So the first reason is that it's not natural, again, that every single person is going to say something to do with plumber or plumbing or plumbers in London. It's just not a natural thing to always consistently happen. So again, sometimes I'm just include London in the word without saying plumbing. And Google knows that this page is about plumbing in London because, firstly, the on-site optimization already makes it abundantly clear, and secondly, they look at these anchor text, plumbers in London, London plumbers, London plumbing, all that. Like, all this bundled up, Google knows that it's already about plumbing. I don't need to reiterate it all the time, and Google can see the whole big picture here without, like, copying it in every single one. And the problem is, if you do that, if you put London plumbers, plumbers London, repeat that over and over and over again, you're going to be over-optimized. Even though it's different anchor text, Google can see that every single one of your anchor text includes the word plumbing in London, then you're in trouble. So you need to diversify. So that's the first reason I did it. The second reason is that I want to rank for some keywords. Like, can I write my screen? Let me see. So I want to be rank for a keyword like 24-hour plumbing, or maybe 24-hour emergency plumbers London, or 24-hour plumbers London, or stuff like this. I want to be able to rank for all these types of keywords here, and I don't need to link with that exact anchor text. I don't need to link with 24-hour plumbers London to do that, or in London, should I say, but I don't need to actually link with that exact anchor text to do that. I could just link sometimes with this, where it says 24-hour services in London, and I could have like mentions about that on the on-site optimization, where in the keywords, where in the content it talks about 24-hour plumbing services, stuff like that, then that's enough. Like, honestly, unless it's a competitive keyword, you won't need to build an exact match anchor text to rank for it necessarily. And again, it's not our main focus. Our main focus is on this keyword up here, plumbers London. So we are focusing on that. Like, the first example I'll give you here is like plumbers in London. Again, we capitalize the L and put in because it's like pretty natural for it to do if it's within an article. No one puts that they're going to contact a plumbers London. They go to say they're going to contact plumbers in London or a plumber in London, which we mentioned later. So other examples which again natural, it's like recommended plumber for London. So I'm not putting in London again, I'm mixing it up and putting for London, and I'm putting plumber instead of plumbers because it mixes it up. Google knows that plumbers, plumber, and plumbing are the exact same word, so it still counts. Like, this is called a synonym. It's really powerful if you can find words that Google recognizes as the exact same word. Then you can mix it up and diversify it while still getting the same effect and power to it, because they know that all of these words are the same thing. So you're not over optimizing by including the same word over and over again. It's unique, but it's actually the same. The thing behind this is why I also put this, like emergency plumbers. So I could rank using this by pointing anchor text optimized like this. I could rank for emergency plumbers in London and stuff like that. So I'm really just thinking about all the different variations, because while this is our focus keyword, we can also rank for numerous variations. We could rank for London plumbers. We could rank for plumbing company because we've got plumbing in here. We can rank for plumbing company in London. We could rank for 24-hour plumbing in London, or emergency plumbers in London, or 24-hour emergency plumbers in London, all this sort of stuff. There's all these different variations, and I gave a very, very basic overview here because I don't know this keyword that well. I just made this up as I go along by a quick Google search. But if you actually do your research and see all the different variations of stuff, this is the sort of stuff you can do when you're building your keyword focused anchor text, by really just diversifying it with synonyms and by wording it in different ways and not including the exact same damn phrase every time. So not including plumbers London every single time, like this example, this one. So not including, like this one doesn't say anything about plumbing, it just says 24-hour services in London, which is still focused towards the keyword because part of the keyword is London, and the other part on this is going to help us hit other keywords. So that is super important. Just diversify ultimately, but I want to give you a breakdown of what I actually mean when I'm saying diversify. So let me continue with the rest of the presentation and show you what I'm talking about for other types of anchor text. So another type is branded anchor text. So this is where you build a link to the site with the brand name. You can do this on your PBNs if you want to diversify, or if you're on a lower budget or something, you can do this on Web 2.0s and stuff like that. But you can also do it on your PBNs, and if you have a big enough budget, you build a big enough PBN, then why not? You may as well do this. So here's the importance of this, that if the name is LionSeo, that doesn't mean you go out there and, like this first one here shows, like capital L, capital Z with a space in the middle, LionSeo. If I built 10 links exactly the same, how natural does that really look? No one goes out there and uses your exact name the exact way you all say. It just doesn't happen. So there's different ways of doing it. Sometimes people won't capitalize it. Not that common if it's a name, but it happens, to be honest. People do it quite a lot when they're lazy or something. The other one is if they don't put a space. Maybe someone doesn't think there's a space between LionSeo, so they put LionSeo with no space. Maybe they capitalize the L, but don't capitalize the Z, so you put LionSeo like that. Or maybe they're going to put LionSeo blog because it is a blog. Maybe they're going to refer to it as a blog and link it as a blog because we also have a group, so maybe they want to define that. Or maybe they'll put LZ blog. If someone wants to shorten it, maybe they'll put LZ instead of LionSeo. Just an example, guys. I want you to be thinking about this all the time. Rather than linking the exact same all the time, you want to be thinking about it. Even with a brand name, it can be different. And if you link the exact same time every single time, even with a brand name, it can be weird. So another thing to think about is when URL anchor text, and the same rule applies here. If you're building a link with a URL based anchor text, it doesn't need to be http://lionseo.com/. It doesn't need to be that every single time. There's different ways of doing that. Not every single person in the world, when they link to you, is going to do that. They're going to do it in different ways. So they could put lionseo.com without anything before that. They could put www.lionseo.com. They could put http://lionseo.com without the slash at the end. They could put lionseo.com with capitals and the L and the Z. They could put lionseo.com in a lowercase. I actually already did that above, but you guys get the idea. There's numerous variations of what they could do. They could do http://www.lionseo.com with a slash, without a slash, all that sort of stuff. There's variations here, guys. Do not do the exact same thing every single time. It is a very, very, very clear footprint is not something you want to do. You're going to get yourself in trouble by just making it look like an SEO does it. You want to make your sites look totally legit, like it genuinely got real links that would happen naturally if you just had great content and all that stuff that Google say. If you do, you'll get naturally great links, which can work, but obviously you need people on your site for that to work, and local businesses and oftentimes many websites that just starting out aren't going to naturally get that. So that's really how to diversify and stuff. I want to give you one final little tip before we end this video, and it's never to repeat anchor text more than once. Now, I wrote this before I started, and I realized that it was kind of a silly thing to say, because for URL anchor text and brand anchor text, depending on how many links you're building, you probably will need to repeat it. So there's only so many ways of saying line zeal or your brand name, or same with a URL. There's only so many variations of a URL. But as a general rule, try to never repeat anchor text more than once. Now, when you've built so many brand links that you need to repeat something, that's perfectly fine. Brand name, totally fine. But if you have focus keywords, you never need to repeat it. And generally speaking, just try and focus on doing this, because it's going to make sure you diversify like crazy, rather than building the exact same anchor text over and over again, which looks unnatural. Even if it's a URL or a brand name, it looks unnatural if it's the exact same format. So mix it up a little bit, but make it look natural and just diversify. And really, that's how you should be building your anchor text. It's natural looking, but it's optimized, and it's following a systematic or scientific even process of copying exactly what is already working. Because if that's already working, if that's what Google is looking for that particular keyword, then you may as well just clone it, you may as well go exactly after that. And really, that is all there is to it. So keep watching all the videos in this course, start taking action, start putting this in place, and I'll see you in the next video.